Right, if you remember in the last clip I had to get some longer adjuster bolts. Anyways, I just got a couple of bolts that were longer, that I wouldn't have them that long anyways, if you know what I mean, but I've adjusted it up, tensioned the, I can't even see that, I'll just zoom out a bit, tensioned the belt up, and I've still got quite a bit of play on these bars, but I'm going to zoom back in. Right, what it is, on these, that length of bolt in there I'm not happy with, so not right at this minute, but I'm going to make a little bit that'll tack onto the axle, and I'm only going to tack it on because if in future, if say for instance I change the belt and the belt that I changed is shorter, I want to be able to just quickly knock it back off so that it's, I can use a shorter, you know, if the axle has to move forward. Now what I'm talking about is like a little block of steel that's shaped oh no then, if you imagine that that's, where's the camera, if you imagine that's the axle tube, I'm struggling to keep that in view. Yeah, if that's the axle tube, I'm going to make a bit that'll tack on around there, sort of thing, but it'll come out and down and in, shaped to the axle, but on the end it'll have a little, like a recess, enough for that bolt to sit in, and it'll probably stick out sort of half the length so that the threaded bit's shorter, and I'll use that. That'll be solid on the axle once it's tacked on, but it means I can use the shorter bolt. I don't like the big long, the idea of the big long bolt. So that's going to be a future thing. I'm not doing it right now. I'll zoom you back out. Also, I've got, I thought that was a bit strange. My screen wasn't turned all the way around, so I was looking at the image upside down. No wonder I was struggling to keep that in view. Also, since the last clip, my new shocks have turned up, and I've been busy stripping the stickers off them, because they had a progressive sticker on, which I thought looked a bit naff. So basically what I've got is a pair of these. They're adjustable in this end. Obviously adjustable for hardness and for height. They're also nitrogen filled, got progressive springs in them. So what I'll do is I'm going to fit these, and then I'm going to put my tyres on the wheels and get the wheels fitted so I can take it off all these stands at the back. Once I've done that, I know there's still a lot of work to do on this back end, but what I'm wanting to do first, just get this sat on its wheels, then I'm going to strip the front end off, put the new raked yokes on and see how the bike's going to sit height wise, etc., and work out whether I'm just going to lower the back end to suit or whether I'm going to get 2-inch longer tubes for the front forks. So next step, I'll fit these. So I'll knock you off just for now and get you set up in a different spot, and then I'll come back. Right, back soon. Right, on these shocks you've got a clip right on the end which is easy to get off. Just stick a screwdriver on and it just comes off. That's basically, if your nut comes loose, it just stops it spinning right off the end. And then basically it's just like any normal shock. Split the bush in half, and what you've got is you've got your rubber bush there, and you've got your rubber bush there, and you've got your inner tube, not inner tube, but you've got your little steel tube that goes between your bush. pushes in the bush sort of thing. So also, if I can see it, I'll just put this clip down so I don't lose it. Now these need cleaned as well, not the shocks, the bolts, because I've not done that with them obviously, but they just fit straight in, nice, no movement in them, so they're spot on. So I'm going to set you up, I'm going to try and set you up so you're looking up underneath the bike, and I'll get these things fitted. So I'll knock you off for now and I'll come back in a minute. Right, now then, hopefully you'll be able to see this. I'm going to fit this side first, the side arm on, opposite side to where the camera is. I can see nothing. Just need to feed it back end first, so it clears the bar. No, maybe not. I'll shove that in first. That's it. That's handy as well. It rests on the bar at the back. Get the other bit of the bush, and get that so it's pushed onto the. You can feel when it's slipping onto the tube in the middle, and then get the nut on. From up here, it doesn't look. So what I might do, if I loosen that back off and just pull that bush back out, I might be able to screw it into the actual swing arm at the same time. That was handy, just had the swing arm set at the right height. Well, not at the perfect height, but it enabled me to... Right, now push the bush and tighten that up. Oh, I'll just turn myself round. Just so I can see up this side, because I want to make sure that it's actually sitting properly in its in the hole. So I'll just get that one. Just testing something here. Yeah, spot on. Right, and what I'll do is I'll get this, oh you twat, I'll get this side on, and hopefully I'll be able to do the same thing get that just to nip up through past the bar. cool as. Oh, blocking the light a bit there, I know. What I'm going to try and do before I put this rubber on this end is I'm just going to screw, if I can fucking get at it, move some gear. Oh. Right, I'm just going to screw this side on to the swing arm. I'll tell you one thing, these Trike swing arms are a fuck's sake easier to get at the bolts on the shocks than on a standard one. Right. Fucking telephones, man, they do your fucking head in. Right, shove that rubber through. Right, all I'm doing at the minute, I'm just going to move this torch so I can see from this end. I just want to make sure that the rubber's actually in the hole properly, which it is. So same again, slip this half of the bush on and shove it in. And that one's in. So, I'll just move this torch back over here. I'll put it back over here instead. Get some spat. Oh, I'll tell you what we'll do. Loosen that lock nut back off. Turn myself round again because I'm facing the wrong way. Right, let's get that on there. I could use a ratchet here, but I'm not wanting to tighten everything up yet. See, I'll nip these up so that the rubbers are like all pushed together properly, but I'm not talking like putting a torque setting on them yet, because obviously they're going to come back off again before the bike's finished. Right, that'll do for me on that one. Spanner up into there. Right, so that's them nipped up at that end. So what I'll do is I'll move you I'll just knock you off for a sec and move you to a different spot, and we'll get the bolts into the swing arm nipped up. Right, back in a sec. Oh, yeah. Right, I think that's the best position I can get you in. One thing with this now is I can actually get at these from underneath, whereas I couldn't before. These are the bolts that are bolting the end of the shock to the actual swing arm. Right, so just nipping them up. As I say, I don't want them proper tight. They are so much easier to get at. So I suppose that's a plus side. Right, and that's the shocks on and nipped up. So I'll just knock this torch off, put it through its 20 different processes. Right. What I'll do is I'll knock it off, I'll get the wheels put on, and then I'll come back when the wheels are on and show you what it looks like with them on. Right, back soon. Right, now that we've got the shocks fitted, I'm going to fit some tyres. Just turn this screen round. But first thing, I need to put a valve in it. So just use, I've got some just like little chrome valves basically. I'll get a couple of them out. Sit on there for the next wheel. Now with these, just in case I unscrew the top, the cap, just stick that down there out the road, unscrew the body. I'll just zoom out a touch because then you'll be able to see a bit better here. Right, body that just screws on the main valve, so you just unscrew that bit, and then there's a washer and a nylon washer, and then you're left with the valve body with a seal on it. So just shove the valve body up into the hole, make sure that the seal is pushing into the hole, which it is. Put the nylon washer against the rim and then the metal washer on top of that, and then just screw basically the chrome outer cover on. And screwdriver in back. I'll actually show you there. On the back of the valve you can see it's got a big slot in it, so you get screwdriver in that bit of the valve obviously is inside the wheel. So you get a big screwdriver for the back, and with it being in the UK it's an 11mm socket. So I'll get the screwdriver put in properly in the right place, and then just tighten this down. And what it does is it pulls the valve through and pulls the steel dead tight against the rim and basically seals it. So now that's on, just temporary, I'll just put the valve cap back on. And then we'll start by getting the tyre on. Liquid, where the fuck I put that? Here. Now all I use to lube my tyres is a water washing up liquid mix. It's enough for the way I do it. So I'll work out which side you want and just spray plenty of lube on it. And the first side's easy enough to fit. Basically you just ram it on. And what I'll do is I'll zoom you out a bit more. Now then, before I go any further, what I use, should I say. Now I'm not, this isn't a plug. I'm not affiliated to anybody for anything. But that's what I use, are balancing beads. Now there's a pack and a half of these going in each tyre. And what I've already done is I've already halved a pack. And that's basically what they are. They're just little tiny beads. So they go inside the tyre before you fit the rest of it. So just bear with us here a second because I need to lift the tyre so I can get in it. Oh, then where's my chocks gone? Typical, I'm putting everything on top of what I want to use. Now you can fit all this lot by, you can get special valves, and there's actually what comes with these, I don't know if you can see it on there, there's an inner valve core and an ear valve cap, but I don't use them. I just pour them straight into the tyre because you can inject them through the valve body. So take this little bag out. You get it's a bag of beads. Get your scissors. Right, I've cut the corner off the bag. Just get it open. And then basically what I do is I just lift the tyre and then just pour them in. Oh. I didn't realise it. Oh, it's sitting on there, that's why. Right, so that's that bag in. Now I'll put the other half, or should I say the other half bag, which I've split into two of these bottles. So, what you don't want to do is just chuck these in because they go everywhere and they can actually get stuck against the bead, so your bead won't seal. Right, and that's them in. So now what we've got in there is balancing beads enough that'll balance this wheel, and they really do work. I use them in all my bikes, and when I've got big profile tyres on cars, I use them on the cars. They don't really work so well on low profile wheels, low profile tyres, sorry. So now that I've got that sort of done, I think I'll start around this edge. I'll just rotate these round so that they're, push that on. Right, once I get that in there, find my bars, rim protectors as well. Rim protectors are good, but they're a pain in the fucking ass to put on. Another unit there. Go on. Spin it. Right, some tyre irons on the job. Why did I only pick up one tyre iron? Oh, this has been a pain in the ass. Doesn't help the fact that I'm cold and the tyres are cold. I don't really like to spray the stuff on the top. You need to get your tyre down in the rim, in the recess. Pain in the ass. sometimes it's worth heating. It sounds stupid, but sometimes it's worth putting a hot air gun on the tyre. It's about -2 at the minute. So basically what you've got is the tyre isn't as supple as it would be if it was warm, so you could actually preheat your tyre, just get an air gun. I mean, don't stick it in one place and melt your tyre, but you could just generally go around the tyre all over and just heat it up, take the coldness out of it, it just makes it that much more supple. So now that that's on, carefully lift the rim off, get it so that you can hear your beads running down to the bottom. Oh, and I need my airline. Just lean me up against that for now. Right, I'll just knock you off for now and I'll get the airline out and compressor up and running. Back in a minute. Right, that's this tyre inflated. Nice, nice decent sort of size, as you can. It would look good on the back of the Trike. Now, I had some issues with this, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, bring this other tyre over. 10-inch rim, 255 tyre, which is fine. I mean, you look at it, it's not like a stupid stretched, you know. But anyways, what problem I was having, if you're looking, I don't know if you can see so well in here, the sidewalls come right in, and I was having a problem getting the beads to sit onto the edge of the tyre so I could inflate it. And I got that engrossed in trying to get it sorted that I forgot to put the camera on. So what I'll do is I'll mount this tyre. I'm going to have the exact same issues with this one. So I'll mount this up and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I sorted that out. And I didn't use fire, and I didn't use like one of them fucking tanks where you blast 100 psi air in a split second. So yeah, as I say, what I'll do is I'll get this tyre fitted, get the beads in, etc., the balancing beads, and then I'll come back and show you how I managed to do this. Right, back soon. Just thought I'd give you a quick thing here. I've got the next tyre just sat on, I haven't put the top on yet. That's the full quantity of beads that'll be going into this tyre. Is exactly the same as what went into the other. What I was just going to think, I've bought one of these, I bought it ages ago, like a tyre changer. It's got a bead breaker on that bit there. Then you can clamp your wheels so they're nice and solid, but it comes with a bar that goes down middle, and one of them you're meant to be able to push the bar round, it puts the tyre on. I've never used that. The only reason I bought this was, one, for the bead breaker, and two, it holds the wheel solid while you're using your bar. I always like to use my tyre irons, which you've seen on the other tyre. I like to use my tyre irons. If I had the space, I'd buy a proper tyre changing machine with the, like you see in the tyre services. But yeah, I never use that how it's meant to be properly used, with a bar where you walk around the tyre and it pushes the tyre on. Always only use my bars on this, and as I say, bead breaker and a way of clamping my wheels solid. The reason I bought it is it was actually my Electroglide. Was it the back or the front? I put a pair of new tyres on my Electroglide, it'd be two and a half years ago, and I always use beads. And what I'd done is I put the bead on, tyre was on the floor here, and I put the tyre on and forgot to put the beads in, so I went to put it in, take the tyre back off on one side to put my beads in. The tyre iron slipped out and I smashed my nose to bits with it. So, and I mean smashed it, it wasn't straight, it was bent across my face and everything, which was quite amusing. Spent half an hour straightening that up in the mirror. Anyways, after that I thought, right, I'm getting something, because one of the reasons it slipped out is because as I was kneeling on one end, and as I pulled the lever over, it pushed forward like that, that's when it slipped out and smacked me in the face. So I can hold my rims nice and solid on this, so that's why I've got one of these. But as I say, I don't use it with the centre bar in and using I don't even know what you call them. It's like the bar that you slip in and then you work your way around the tyre and it actually puts the tyre on for you. So, but yeah, just thought I'd show you that basically, just so you know what I'm using. Right, I'll let you go, I'll get these in and get the other half of the tyre put on, and then we'll set to and show you how I sorted this problem out. Right, back soon. Right, got the tyre on, and as you can see there, you can see where the bead is, massive amount of rim. The bead folds right in on itself on both sides. You know, I'm not just trying to push the tyre right over to this edge and make that side look worse, but you can see. Now, what I started earlier today, when I put the first, get this light off, when I got the first tyre off, on, was I tried the ratchet strap trick around the middle of the tyre and thingy, and it nowhere near, not a chance. So I reverted to I'm just going to put you back on the stand. I reverted to a thing, I got shown this a long time ago by an old guy, and it was actually on a wagon tyre, a proper wagon tyre, and I was quite amazed with it. And I mean, we're talking, oh you know, we must be talking 20 years ago that this old guy showed me this trick. Anyways, it's some of you might have even seen it before. Inner tube on the edge, but with this I had to knock off, not this one, but the other tyre. I had to switch, obviously I'd switched the camera off anyways, but I had to nip into town. Because these are 15-inch wheels, I didn't have a 15-inch inner tube. So I went to town to my local bike shop and got a couple of tubes. So I'll just grab my fag and have a quick vape, and then I'll crack on and show you how I did this. Now, the old guy that showed me this trick said use an inner tube that's the size of the rim. I've lost my bloody squirty tackle now. Oh, it's here. Use an inner tube that's the size of the rim or the next size down. So, for instance, this is a 15-inch rim and I couldn't get a 15-inch inner tube, so I've got a 14-inch one. So I'll just spin that round. Let's push that tyre off a bit. So basically, just get the thing on. Bit of a stretch, but it goes. Just try not to twist it so that you can't get. You know, so you don't want it to twist on itself, so it can't get air to go all the way around. And what I should have done there was spray this in first, just to keep everything lubed. So I'll just shove that in there. Pull that up a bit. Just pulling that to the edge because I'm going to push the wheel back through. I'll just grab my airline. I'll just inflate this a little bit. There, that just sort of flipped itself straight. Right, so you get that one in, flip it round, because as you can see there, I inflated that and the tyre's still, there's still a big gap in there. So, this time I won't forget to put my lube on. Lube the inner tube. Because you want just like when you're normal fitting a tyre, you want everything to be able to slide about. So this is the exact same thing. Shove it in. It can be a bit of a pain to get them in. Same thing again. Now what I do with these, as I start to inflate the actual tyre, the wheel, when I put on the valve on the wheel and start to inflate it, as it starts to push the tyre out, I start letting a little bit of air out of each of these tubes. So, as you can see there, it's starting to now I only want it to go so far. If at first you don't succeed, I should have let that go a little bit further. What I'm trying not to do is actually pop the actual rim. Now that might have enough in it to... no, it doesn't. What I wasn't trying to do is let the tyre actually pop onto the rim properly. I just want it to get along so far that it seals itself. So when you pull the tube out, you can inflate it and actually get the tyres to pop out. It doesn't take a lot. Oh, and I took the valve core out as well, out of this. That's, you know, I was saying as it starts to come out, let a little bit of air out. That's why. Being a pain in the ass now. That side's alright still. What I might do is let a little bit of just let a little bit. Right, I don't know what happened there. The fucking camera's just switched itself off. But basically what I've just done, I this tyre's flat at the minute. I don't know exactly, I did have a quick look, but basically what I did, put that back in, inflated the tyre, it popped out again. So what I did is I pulled the tube out and moved it so that the valve was at the top. Did the same thing again, like blew the tyre up so it came out, but I let it blow out a bit further, let a bit of pressure out of the tubes on each side, and then put a bit more air in, and it was getting close. It hadn't popped, but it was getting close, and once I got to that point I was able to pull the tubes out on both sides. That's how much air was left in them, you know, dead squashy. And then I carried on blowing the tyre up until it popped on the rim. I didn't realise the camera had gone off. Well, the camera hadn't gone off, I could still see the screen, but I didn't realise it wasn't recording. I thought I was having problems with the batteries, because it kept just going off, and I'm wondering if it's actually the camera that's at fault. I might have to get a new camera. But anyways, I popped the beads so it had, you know, it had inflated and popped. So that's one way of getting tyres to fit on where the beads are right narrow in the middle. Now the same trick, obviously bigger tubes, but the same trick works on normal motorbike tyres as well. I know this is a car tyre, but it works on motorbike tyres as well. You know, sometimes when you get a new tyre and it comes wrapped in that plastic stuff, fucking centres are nearly touching. Sometimes it can be a right pain in the arse to get them to come out onto the rim to get it to seal. Well, that same trick works with the bike wheels as well, motorbike wheels. So, as I say, I popped this, and it was because the camera had gone off, as in it stopped recording. I was about to carry on what I was doing, but then if you're not recording, the camera switches itself off after, like, I think about a minute and a half or something like that. And it's only because I heard it makes a little tune when it switches off and on. It's only because I heard that I realised something was at fault. So basically, I hope it's still got the red dot, so it's still recording at the minute. But basically, the next step, what I was going to do was just put the valve coil back in. And then blow the tyre up to the correct pressure. Well, it might not be the correct pressure, because I'm going to have a look on forums to see what sort of pressures people run rear Trike tyres at. But I'm just going to blow this up to 30 psi for now. So, takes a while. This is a homemade tyre inflator. This part is off one of them. A long time ago my missus had a Mini, and it came with like a little tyre inflator, and it broke, so I cut this bit off with the gauge on and just connected it to an air nozzle. Too fucking tight to buy a proper tyre inflator. And it seems to take forever. Compressor will probably kick in a minute as well. Nearly there. all this. Basically, the lube, as I've explained, the lube, it's just water and washing up liquid. So just wipe the excess off. But that's basically the second tyre installed. And a little trick, yeah, it can be a little bit faffy, but it's better than trying to. The reason I don't like, I wouldn't use the one where you blast the air in out of a tank, is there's a possibility that it might actually blow all the fucking beads out of the tyre. And I don't really like that idea anyways. And I definitely won't fucking set fire to my tyres. So, but yeah, that's the tyres on and inflated. So a nice chunky, I'll just get the other one. So there we have it. A nice pair of Trike tyres, picking up my fucking floor as well. Yeah, so I'll have to have a watch back on the video properly and see if I've lost any footage. I watched the last clip on the little viewer. It didn't seem as if I'd lost that much. It was just that last bit of that putting that tyre on. So for now the tyres are on, we'll get them fitted to onto the axle. But for now that's it. I'll come back later when I'll set up in a different area then, and as I say, I get these fitted on. So back soon. Right, I just want to quickly show you something here. These are like pressed, obviously pressed rims because they're steel. If just right in that edge where the hub sits, you'll see that's very slightly rounded with it being pressed in. Now on the hub itself, if I zoom back out, on the hub itself that was machined to a perfectly square corner. So what I've just done, I don't know if you can see, I've just knocked the corner off ever so slightly. Because when I measured this and measured that gap, not the gap, sorry, the from here to here, the measurements were absolutely spot on. They were the same, but difference being that's got a very slightly radius corner to it, if you want to call it a corner, and that was square. So I've just took the edge right off that just so it doesn't cause any issues. It'll just sit nicely in there now. So I just thought I'd quickly show you that. Right, back in a minute. Right, so I've got the wheels on and it looks quite tidy with them on. And so once I get the centre cap in as well, it'll look shit hot. And it's off all its stands now. If I get put the weight on here, you can see, I don't hope you can see. A little bit of movement. So yeah, so back end wise, for now, I'm done. I'm just going to leave it like that for now because I want to strip all the front end off and put my raked yokes on. So what I'll do is I'll knock you off again. I might have myself a brew actually, and then I'll set you up and we'll start stripping this front end off. The front end, obviously raked yokes to go in place of them ones. Mirrors are to come back off, so wiring's to take out. There's a set of heated grips to go on this, so the whole lot will probably have to come out so I can feed the heated grip wiring through, and then carefully refeed the switchgear wiring because it's all internal. The indicators are going to be sort of there, and relocation sort of blocks, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, but to start with I just want to get the front end off, get the raked yokes in, see how it sits and how it looks, as to whether or not I get some new longer stanchions, or whether I just lower the back end. I'll see how it looks when I get the raked yokes put together. Right, I'll knock you off for now, back soon.